So this is boring, but it's important. BC has three major parties. The BC NDP, who are like Bernie Sanders, if he was really boring. The BC Liberals, who are like Gordon Gekko and Casual Friday. And the Greens, who, like Green parties across North America, are dedicated to minimizing our impact on the environment by electing as few people as possible. Canada has yet to elect an out-trans person to any level of government. However, in this election, all these parties are running one. Actually, the Greens are running two, as we found out when they accidentally outed her on the news. Let's step back a minute before I go further. I'm not a member of any party, but I am the financial agent for Morgane Auger, the NDP candidate. This means that I volunteer to make sure that her books obey the provincial election spending rules. So what this means is that I'm a little biased. When someone wins an election, sometimes people get hired for jobs, and then I have her word that I can stop being her financial agent. Please elect her and let someone else add up the receipts. While one of these candidates could be the first trans person elected in Canadian government, Canada, despite a reputation, is far from being the first in the world. Tamara Adrian was elected last year in Venezuela. The Communist Party has elected a transgender sex worker advocate in Italy. Also, Peru, Uruguay, Poland, England, Belgium, Italy, Germany in 1990, Thailand, Sri Lanka, the Philippines, India, and New Zealand have all elected a trans person at the regional or national level. If your government doesn't work, have you tried just turning it off and on again? Late last year, the right-leaning BC Liberals passed a bill to add gender identity and gender expression to the BC Human Rights Code. Good stuff, right? So they've been in office since 2001, and they've spent that time using a list of bullshit excuses not to add gender identity and gender expression to the BC Human Rights Code. What's going on here? Vancouver has one of the biggest pride events in the country. Admittedly, this is Canada, so the bar is low. Typically, large pride organizations don't care what your organization does or believes, as long as you're willing to drive very slowly on the rare days where it is hot out. But Vancouver Pride introduced a rule stating that you'd had to be at least a little on side with trans rights in order to march in the parade. And then they told the Premier that her party wasn't welcome, which was a pretty big embarrassment for the BC Liberals. 1 year later, the bill is passed and our Premier is scheduled to go for a slow walk in the hot sun. I guess they realized that people care about queer rights or something. Back to the present. Morgane Auger fought to win the nomination for the NDP, our left-leaning party. This is in a riding called False Creek, which the NDP needs to win. Soon thereafter, the BC Liberals nominate a candidate in a riding populated by students and public servants, both of whom hate the government. She doesn't have a hope in hell of winning. But why just these three parties? Communists, do me a solid. Solidarity. It's a communist joke. Okay. Communist Party. Oh, sorry, my producer's telling me to stop. Libertarians, it's all about personal freedom, right? Even the Christian Heritage Party? I mean, guys, you're letting me down. Blessed be the fruit. May it open. So between these three parties, we're seeing very different approaches to running trans candidates. The Greens, like smaller parties the world over, have a good track record of putting forward trans candidates, and not just in this election. But between the left-leaning NDP and the right-leaning Liberals, we see two very different strategies. The left-leaning NDP fights for trans rights for years, and then, hey, look, a trans candidate is running in a riding that they need her to win. The right-leaning BC Liberals blocked trans rights for a decade and a half until they realize it's costing them votes. But they also don't want to alienate their cultural conservative base. So they run a trans candidate in a riding that she's guaranteed to lose. It's the difference between being included in a struggle and being used as window dressing. An interesting parallel is like when a show with no trans people in the main cast announces that the second season will be a big step forward by hiring one trans person for the writing room. I love you, Jeffrey Tambor, but I like our show more. Hey look, trans people! What's happening here in BC gives us a blueprint for other struggles. We use LGBT community resources to put the squeeze on. The side that's been holding things up starts feeling the pressure, and then guns for faux trans inclusion. We call them on it, we make progress. Thank you for watching This Week in Trans, where next week I'll hopefully have a chair or a desk or something. Bag of sand. Big one, trash bag full of sand. Awesome. But before we go, and can't really make a joke out of this one, If you're following what's going on in Chechnya, it's bad. However, the Canadian organization Rainbow Railroad, in partnership with the Russian LGBT network, is working to get people the hell out of there, and they need your help. Check the link below for what you can do. Well, thanks for watching. See you next week.